Welcome back to the next episode of Hermitcraft. I've been tidying up my base once again. Those are all my tools, all the things I want to keep in my inventory, and I'm down to just 3 shulker boxes of junk. It's always nice to do this. I've also organised my shulker boxes over here, adding in a few extra new ones that I'm working on just to store the extra stuff that comes through into this chest. Around the back here I've been storing some string, gunpowder and slime from our farm as well. I've even moved the concrete maker over here as well. Let's just take a quick wander around. You can see it's now positioned over the back here. So exact same setup as before. And I'm now reminded that around the back here we're supposed to be building a super smelter project, right, for all these furnaces. I haven't made up my mind on what we're going to do in today's episode, but I was just clearing out, and then I was reminded that all the vanilla tweaks Datapacks have been updated so they can show you in-game what exactly it is you're running. So let's check this out. If I press L, we got this new tab here on Hermitcraft now. So these are all our advancements, and we got one for vanilla tweaks. And every now and then I do get a question about what's running on the server. So I'm going to quickly drag over each of these, and you can pause the video if you really want to know what each and every one of them that we're running are. Now they're all spaced out like this because occasionally one data pack might be dependent on another, like you just saw a moment ago. So that's why there was one after the other, because it was dependent. So those are all the ones that we're running, and for those of you that have been asking, I hope that's been helpful. One thing I do know we need to do this episode, and I'm going to do this every episode, is of course drop off a supply of wither roses to the Sahara team just over here by the garage. This is the place to load up stock, so I brought a barrel with me, and today I'm going to drop off 4 wither roses and of course deposit a bill here for the order. Hey, there's something really new looking over here in the distance. This is outside of the shopping area. This is well and truly in the modern area. And look at the smoke coming out of those campfires hidden underground. It's an interesting looking building. Oh, and we're cruising straight on in here. Okay, so welcome to Siege of Doom sign-up shop. Now, this is called Siege of Doom. I instantly know who has made this. Instructions in the chest above. Okay, let's check it out. So Siege of Doom is a PvP loot-based minigame in Hermitville. It's the game that Isgal's been working on. And when there is smoke around the building, the event is available. Cool. So I've got to rename a piece of paper. That's good. I've got paper on me. 10 diamonds to get in, and Isgal will organise a date. Awesome. Okay, I'm totally signing up for this. Alrighty then. There's my name, there's my sign-up fee, and now we've got something cool to look forward to in the future. By the way, for those of you that know about my plans for a redstone game, I'll give you an update. It's not going so well. I have really kind of hit a wall with this scale of the project. But I don't know. I really love to make another minigame, but that's definitely not what we're doing today. We have so many projects running at the moment on this server, and I'm thinking about starting up new ones, trying to make up my mind on what I'm going to do. And I figured out what we'll do at the beginning of this episode. We'll head back to the base and work with our furnaces over there, as I want to add like a convenient super smelter. But I've come over to this place to replace all of the furnaces with smokers, which is why I've got this down here, so I can craft a bunch. It kind of occurred to me after, though, that of course I didn't need to make 35 new furnaces because I've got to rip these ones out, but they will work with food items faster. And of course, kelp is actually a food item. You can eat it once it's been turned into dried kelp. So that means that this farm can now run even faster than it did before. So I figured I'd come in here and change them all to smokers. Okay, there we go. Obviously, this thing is not running at the moment. The flying machine broke, which I'm not sure how that happened, because the last time I was here, I turned off the entire farm. Also, why is there 2 slabs there? I'm sure that's a marker to remind me of something. Anyway, somewhere around here there is a broken flying machine that I need to fix. Okay, that's how we know this farm is working. I've got very little frame rate. It turns out that both of the flying machines broke. Look, the other one is over here as well, and this is the one that scoops all of that kelp down into the collection area. And we got a creeper over here. I have absolutely no idea how that creeper got up the top here. There's nowhere for you to spawn. Maybe it came out of a cave down below and swum up, or something along those lines. There go my frames again. Oh man, this farm is so crazy. My goodness me. And there we go. A whole room of active smokers. Very nice. I like the animation on the block. And you can see, look at this, it's basically twice as fast as a furnace, so we're getting through all of that kelp much, much quicker. So back here at the main storage part of our base, something is ever so slightly different. Can you spot it? Yes, that's right, the chests, that one and this one, they're no longer facing forward. Well done. I'm going to guess no one would have noticed that. Anyway, what I've done is I've moved all this crazy armor and other stuff into the barrels, since it didn't need to be stored in those chests on either side anymore. And that means we can free it up and use it to move items round to the back where the furnace is, and then back round to the other side. And yes, I know that's kind of inefficient, but it's just the way the base is laid out, right? So there's a hopper underneath the back over here, so if I chuck something in, it's going to disappear and go to the back to be smelted, and eventually the smelted items will appear on this side over here. And stone is an item that you can smelt from cobblestone. I don't know how that stone block got in there. I'm going to guess it was when I was mining blocks in this area, right? So this is where it's going to come back through, somewhere from that direction. And then our furnace array is across the back here, as you can see. And then somewhere down there's going to be more hoppers. But here's the problem. Anyway, I got to do some digging and clearing out water, right? Because behind where the furnaces are, there is all of this, and it needs draining. In fact, it goes all the way up to the top here. So I'll probably start off with filling this open ravine in. I know it's a nice feature, but it's going to be problematic. So having thought this through a little bit more, we're going to be building at this height here. We have an underwater ravine behind us, and then one that goes to the surface up here. So if I just fill it in like this is actually level with this ravine over here. So it will look kind of natural, and we're going to be below this, so we don't have to do any kind of crazy filling in. My friends, there is a bug in this update, and I'm going to show it to you because it's happening again right now. Do you see this like black block emerging as I break the blocks here? And you see how shaky everything gets? I don't know what is causing that, but I've seen this several times with Instant Mine in 1.14. It's kind of disappointing. Okay, it's gone away again. I've got a feeling it's got something to do with light. When light blocks are nearby, it doesn't seem to happen. Let's put down a torch. Let's put down a couple of torches here, and then... No, I'm still getting the shakiness there. But when I went in this direction, it kind of went away. Well, I got a little bit carried away there, just digging in the wrong direction, investigating that bug. It's such a strange one. I've actually made a bug report for it on the tracker now. But anyway, let's place in the last of the hoppers that are going to plug into this furnace, because it's going to be a relatively simple array. We're going to use water streams on top of these hoppers to save on them. And the top one is obviously going to have items going down it, and then fuel will go along this line. And the interesting part of this project is going to be the fuel that we're using. You may also be thinking that that is a lot of furnaces, and if they were to all fill up, the hoppers down below probably won't be able to keep up moving all of the items out of there. You're right, but I'm probably never going to need to smelt that many items. It's a little bit silly. I'm kind of going overkill and never really going to use that. The cool thing here, though, is that the hoppers actually are above the chest over here. So that makes the last part nice and convenient. I can just put a container here and drop the items downwards. That being said, we're probably going to switch to water streams because that's kind of convenient. And boy, do I love these item elevators. I keep thinking about using droppers to do this, right? But of course, update aquatic, making our lives much easier. Something bad has happened. I have gotten stuck. Hang on, let's back up here. Yeah. Whoa! I'm in your face. There we go. So the items will come up the top there, flow across, and then go down and across past these hoppers. So then for the fuel, that's going to come from a different direction over here. So the fuel is one of the things that we're going to do next. But because we have to place these every so often to break up the water streams, means I don't actually have a furnace there. So we've got a set of 7, another 7, another 7 over here, and then to save on all those hoppers that I've got going this way, we're going to use a water stream to bring them back on this side as well. So here is that water stream, and I'm going to put glass over the top of it, just in case, I don't know. But anyway, back here, got something interesting. If any items do manage to make their way all the way across, meaning all the furnaces are being used at once, I figured I'd let them just drop straight down into these hoppers and go back into our output chest. And then when I look in there, I'll see what's happened, although I don't think that's ever actually going to happen. Now, if the fuel comes all the way over to the end here, which is far more likely because we'll be generating fuel, as you're about to find out, and it'll be filling up all these hoppers, It's going to go down into the lava, which is just fine, but we need to detect when this hopper right here is full of fuel. So one of the things I'm going to add here is a little redstone circuit to detect that, which will actually just literally be a comparator, and then that signal is going to go over to where we're going to generate the fuel. Now when I say generate, I'm talking about exploiting something rather cheaty, and this technology I believe is going to remain in the game because I don't think Mojang know how to patch it out without breaking other stuff. Now I'm going to put a poll on the screen and ask if you know what this is right here. You may have seen this over on Ilmango's channel. Him and the Psycraft team came up with this wonderful contraption that takes advantage of something called zero tick pulses. And when moving a block with a zero tick pulse, you actually send a update, or like a growth update, to the thing that's above it. So you can use this to do sugarcane, bamboo, and cactus. And we're going to take advantage of the bamboo because it is, of course, a fuel source. So over here, I've got a zero tick generator. Due to the timing difference between the comparator and the repeater, it's going to power this redstone over here. And if I could keep it on the screen, which might be a little bit tricky, let's actually move this button. What you're going to see is that it doesn't actually turn on. Let's try. You can kind of see it at the very bottom of the screen if you've got a bit of an eagle eye. Right, if I stand here, you can see the redstone. It doesn't actually turn on, does it? And that's because it creates a zero tick. So now let's watch that piston there. And notice how its animation is kind of strange, right? That's because it's instantaneously pulling the block back and also pushing it out again. So this funky behavior right here is being exploited in this farm, and it's done using torches, which will power the dirt block and then power the redstone, and that then powers this block. So this is going to extend. It also needs updates from these pistons above and below, so they're going to feed updates into this thing. It's all really crazy technology, but when I hit this lever, you know, the block in the middle looks like it's having some sort of magic happen to it. And here's the cool thing, when we put bamboo on top and we start to grow this, it's, well, okay, that's not really going to show you because I've disabled the piston at the top. Right, we'll also pass on an update up here like that, and that means that that piston is going to knock off the top bamboo. And now you see it, we're just generating bamboo. It's crazy. If we press F3 when we look at this, we don't actually see any age update or information on the targeted block, but it's doing its thing, and you might think that this is going to be laggy for the server. It's actually like not really intensive on the server at all. Now I would like to make a modification to this purely for how we're going to pick up the bamboo. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. If the Psycraft team haven't already done this, then it's probably not. So I have attached an additional block with redstone on top of it to power the piston up there. That should be all good. I want to use a slime block. That's going to move that one though, isn't it? Looks like I'm going to have to use some of that cheaty Vex magic to make this work. That should not get moved by the slime block. And you can see it's sending the bamboo all the way over there. It looks like it's doing it very consistently. Oh, it's actually also blocking off the growth. So we've halved the growth now by doing that. Okay, seems just as bad when it's like that. So I've added a repeater around the back here. So if I click it 3, 4, and then again it will be back to 1 tick. The problem was, if you didn't catch it, it leaves the slime block out. So it's, you know, running at half speed. So if you're interested in this farm, I'll link to it in the description box down below. This is not the last time we're going to use this farm, by the way. I've got another project lined up for this and something else in the future. But in Ilmango's video, he set it up like this, and I'm sure I saw it somewhere else a lot more complicated with hoppers and stuff involved, which is why I tried the slime block to see if that would be easier. So anyway, now when we activate it, most of the bamboo should end up going into this hopper. And there you go, we're generating bamboo just like that. Now this is obviously not really in an optimal spot to get the bamboo into the farm, so I just built that to try it out on here and get it running. I'm going to rebuild it over here in this space and hook it up to this input over here. So there it is, doing its thing, making lots of noise and making bamboo, slowly filling up these hoppers full of the stuff, and when it makes its way all the way down to the back here and this gets filled up, this redstone right here is going to turn on. So let's go and chuck in the last bit of bamboo. and then you can see the machine over here has been turned off. Now I've realised this has a strange effect, you see, because the fuel down here at the front is going to continue to get used when this is off, and it's not until all the stuff leading to the back has been depleted and it starts to use this fuel that it turns on again. But then it fills it up from the front all the way to the back. So in theory the furnace will still keep going. It's all a little bit of a strange system overall, but it will be fine. And last of all, if we just pop over here, once again we got a dropper, and I've had to do the redstone here a little bit different just because we've had to access it from underneath. So there's the clock. The signal also gets transferred downwards and across, and we power that dropper from below. Okay, we can't leave this place without a test smell. I figured I got loads of raw beef, and I know I'm never going to eat it, but I want to give it a try. Let's chuck all of it in here and wait for it to come out the other side. Well, there we go. The first two furnaces are smelting, which is nice to see. I've also got these gaps now, which I'm just going to fill in with some dark prismarine. And bam, there we go. Awesome. I have needed that for the longest time. You know, chuck anything I need smelted in over there, and yeah, it all gets taken care of. We are about to leave this base and go fix up an old project, but before we do that, I've been thinking about one of the practices we use in this game, which is to put droppers on top of hoppers. The reason that we do this is to reduce the impact that hoppers have on the game. You know, you might call it lag. They basically take resources, and doing this actually means the hoppers do a little bit less of that. But we have got new blocks in this update 1.14, and I'm wondering if some of these new blocks might be even better than droppers. So one of the other ones is barrels. It's a container block and it's a full block as well, so it's kind of similar to the dropper in a way. I don't know if it would do less impact overall, but it's certainly a possibility. There's also another block as well which I think could be even better. It's a composter. Now the hopper can interact with this, but it's got some unique properties, that being that you can throw items inside of it and they won't get picked up by the hopper below, which is really, really bizarre, because if you look at like how far into there it's fallen. Let's go and throw an item on top of this as an example, right? If I do that, the hopper can pick it up off the top of a half slab, but here with the composter you can have an item the same sort of distance or even lower, you know, right on top of the hopper, and it doesn't pick it up. Anyway, some sort of lag busting or investigation needs to be done here, but it's possible that we might have a new alternative that's even better. So my friends, we are back over at the Rose Maker, this glorious farm. Of course we're going to need many more wither roses from this. So if I go and AFK over here, we may run into the problem that we had last time that we did that. These blocks up the top there, the obsidian that I'm pointing at, they got destroyed, and I had an absolute brilliant comment, and I always feel guilty when I do this. I kind of forget to write down whose name it is, but you who are watching know this suggestion. A really great one, to build a cobblestone generator, because I'm not sure exactly what it is that lets it at one point or another blow up these blocks right here, but when it does that, it means that the drops spill out of the front, or better yet, the Endermen spill out, and we don't get any more wither roses. So if we create a cobblestone generator over here to the side, and we push the cobble across, then when the blocks get broken, new blocks get pushed in from the side. It is pretty genius if you ask me. So somewhere over here where I've just pillared up to, we're going to build a cobblestone generator. So it might be somewhat ironic that my block of choice here was glass. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. If it gets blown up at some point in the future, I'm happy to come over here and repair it and replace it with perhaps obsidian. But we don't want the wither shooting over here. And one of the problems this might cause is that Endermen teleport on top of here. So I've got to kind of proof that somehow, and I'm not actually sure if they teleport to the top of slabs or if they'll teleport onto redstone. That stuff, of course, stops things from spawning here. But anyway, the circuit that I'm building right now is simply a comparator decay clock. And to set it off, we're going to put a redstone torch here, and that's going to create a pulse which activates this piston. So it's going to fire quite frequently, and then if the wither destroys it, it will be pushing out a few more blocks in no time at all. So now what we can do is, let's put the water in first on this side, and then the lava on that side there, and it's created cobblestone. Now this thing isn't pushing because of the push limit. Actually, it's probably because of the obsidian to begin with. But there you go. So if I mine a few more blocks, it'll slowly push out the cobblestone and make its way over there. Now what I could do is put slabs on top of this stuff. Those slabs might also get blown up. So we kind of need a way to stop Enderman getting on top of this stuff, and I think I've got an idea. So I've rearranged the redstone circuit here so that we can have a flat panel of glass above the top. What I'm actually going to do is put water going across the top here. That's the sure way to stop Enderman from getting up the top here, right? Just cover it in water and there's no way there's going to teleport to it. There's an egg on the ground over here. That means that our chicken is alive and well. And yeah, you can see there's a lot more water than there was a moment ago. I put this over the top of the cobblestone going right up to the side of this, so no Enderman teleport to it. You see, if an Enderman is nearby, the wither might divert its attention. And one of the things that actually happened was some of the iron blocks here got broken. So what I've gone and done is lowered the redstone further down so that whenever it does do that thing where it blows up blocks, it's not so close nearby. And then I've covered it in water, which is why the water's a little bit lower right here and then goes up, because I have seen Enderman actually somehow getting on top of here, even though they're not supposed to teleport to iron bars. So that should address every single problem with this. You know what I'm going to do now? It's AFK session time to see how many wither roses we can get. If I ain't careful, I'm going to develop a case of repetitive strain injury over here. That's right, I've emptied all of these, well, apparently not all of them. I've emptied all of these chests, I'll say it again, and all the ender pearls are now just floating there on the floor, ready to despawn, because I want to use this all for wither roses. What I should really do is get a item filter in place, so maybe I'll do that on a live stream or something, but now I'm ready to AFK, and that's it from me this episode. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, then leave a like. As always, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.